Hello everyone, my name is Dmitry and today there is final video about the withdrawal of the Baltic countries from the Soviet Union. This time we will talk about Estonia. If you are interested, you can subscribe. Thank you. For the first time, strong calls for withdrawal from the USSR were heard in the Baltic states in the autumn of 1988. They were voiced in front of a large crowd by dissident Trivimi Vilista. Against the background of the liberalization of state power in the framework of Gorbachev's perestroika, peaceful protests were already underway in Estonia, Latvia and Lithuania, which went down in history as the Sinning Revolution. So, on September 11, 1988, about 300,000 Estonians gathered at the music and political festival on the Sinning Field in Tallinn, about a third of the total number of these people. And on November 16th of the same year, the Supreme Soviet of the Estonian SSR adopted the Declaration of Sovereignty by a majority vote. It states that the further development of the Republic should take place in conditions of sovereignty. There was also disagreement with the amendments and additions to the Soviet Constitution submitted by the Presidium of the Supreme Soviet of the USSR for public discussion, which excluded Estonia's right to self-determination. The supremacy of Estonian laws over Soviet ones was recognized. The Estonian people on the shores of the Baltic Sea have been cultivating the land and developing their culture for more than 5,000 years. The document emphasized. In 1940, the nationally homogeneous sovereign Estonian state became an integral part of the Soviet Union while preserving the guarantees of sovereignty, and the flourishing of the nation was envisaged. However, the internal policy of Stalinism and the period of stagnation ignored these guarantees and principles. As a result, an unfavorable demographic situation has developed on Estonian soil for Estonians. As an indigenous nationality, the national environment in the many regions of the Republic has been in a catastrophic situation. The ongoing destabilization of the economy has a negative impact on the living standards of the entire population of the Republic. On August 23, 1989, about 2 million residents of the three Baltic republics built a 600-kilometer human chain connecting Tallinn, Riga and Vilnius. Flowers were thrown at people from iron to plants. The peaceful protest was timed to coincide with the 50th anniversary of the signing of the Molotov-Ribbentrop Pact, which, as recalled in the republics, changed their political status. Separatist organizations took advantage of the speech of ordinary citizens. Moscow condemned the initiative of the Estonians, but did not dare to retaliate. On March 30, 1990, the Supreme Soviet of the Estonian SSR adopted a resolution on the state status of Estonia. The state power of the USSR in Estonia was recognized as illegal, and the beginning of the restoration of the Republic of Estonia was proclaimed. In addition, a transitional period was established before the formation of the constitutional state authorities of the new Estonia. Following the results of the elections to Supreme Council of Estonia held in March 1990, the NFE was able to form a government. Edgar Savisaar, one of the leaders of the Popular Front, took the post of Prime Minister. On May 8, 1990, the Supreme Soviet of the SSR adopted a law on invalidating the name Estonian Soviet Socialist Republic and on restoring the name Republic of Estonia. This law also bans the use of the coat of arms, flag and anthem of the Estonian SSR as state symbols and restores the effect of the Constitution of the Republic of Estonia of 1938. 8 days later, the law on the fundamentals of the temporary order of governance of Estonia was adopted. According to it, the subordination of state authorities, public administration, judicial and prosecutors officers of the Republic to the relevant authorities of the USSR ceased. They were separated from the USSR system. It was announced that relations between the Republic and the USSR were now being built on the basis of the Tartu Peace Treaty concluded between the Republic of Estonia and the SSR on February 2, 1920. The Estonian side offered to settle relations with the USSR through negotiations. The ending of the occupation and the restoration of Estonia's independence were put forward as the topic. By the decree of the President of the USSR Mikhail Gorbachev of May 13, 1990, the legal act of the USSR of March 30 was declared invalid. The document emphasized that the Supreme Soviet of the Estonian SSR adopted the resolution on the state status of Estonia unilaterally without consulting the people of the Republic, ignoring the economic, political, cultural and legal ties that have developed in the USSR. An economic blockade was declared against Lithuania in a similar situation.